life treated you, the challenges that came, how you handled it. It is just your story. How are you growing your soul? To know this and many more, engage with us at 7 p.m. That's the first no. And her topic is very powerful. Love your neighbor as yourself. I'm sure she might be having a different question to, or better still, explain it further for our understanding. So without wasting much time, let's link up. Hello?
Hello.
Wow, I love your voice. Anything
Thank
special?
you. Oh, no, nothing special.
Is it because of the Christmas?
Nothing special, really. I guess I'm just in a good mood, I guess.
Wow. So do you want to sing for us or you want to tell us about yourself? Which of them? Choose one.
Do I want to what?
Do you want to sing for us or do you want to tell us about yourself?
I think I'll tell you about myself.
Okay. we are listening.
I'm Abigail Ansafar Isel. Wait, what do you want to know? I need to know what you need to know first.
Okay, so we want to know what you do. We want to know whether you are married, whether there's a special one. What brought you to Ethereum Mission? Briefly.
Okay, so my name is Abigail Ansafar Isel, like I said. I'm into IT, project management. I was pretty much born in Ethereum Mission. My parents were both Ethereans, so I was pretty much born here. So I think that's a, and no, there's no one in my life currently, but yeah, we are working towards that. So that's just a brief, based on the questions you asked, that's just a brief about myself.
Wonderful. So can we accept applications and forward it to you?
Oh, no problem. No problem at all.
Wow. How is the programming? Mostly it's guys who are into programming.
Well, I don't do the hardcore programming itself. I do more of the front end stuff. The back end is mostly done by other team members. And I do most of the project management, getting it up and running. That's really what's and where my interest lies.
Wonderful. Over to you as you take us through your topic, love your neighbor and yourself.
Okay, thank you. Thank you once again. Well, I welcome you all to today on Hour of Empowerment. I welcome you again to Ethereum Mission, the Church for Spiritual Empowerment. Our vision is that of a unified world in which everyone is the catalyst that is activating and promoting the inner good in one another. So imagine a world in which the good in me is seeking to call for the good in you. And the good in you is equally seeking to call for the good in me. And that is the kind of world Ethereum Mission is focused on creating. So if you want to join us in creating such a world, you are welcome to join us at Ethereum Mission. We are located at the General Ankara High Street, next to the Guel filling station at Sakaman, Accra. You can call us on 0264 177 633. Or you can also call us on 0548 177 633. Now these are also our WhatsApp numbers. So if you want to be receiving our daily and our weekly lessons, you can equally reach out to these numbers and you get to receive them. Also, if you want to promote the good we believe in by supporting us financially, you are equally welcome to contact us and we'll give you the right addresses or the contacts for you to make your donations to. Would appreciate your support. Now we are also located at Takrade at the Dave Street and Inaji Estates. And the phone number is 0561 166 330. We are also at Kumasi, so if you are at Kumasi, you can fellowship with us at the Derba Courts Hotel behind Dr. Badu in Adiembra. And the contact number is 0561 166 331. If you are also in the UK, you can fellowship with us at 58 Grange Park Avenue in Mitcham, Surrey. And the postcode is CR4 2DG. You can equally reach us on 020-8646-6129. God bless you. So, going straight into my topic, which was rightly said by our host, my topic is love thy neighbor as thyself. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Now, Jesus he's one master who has been greatly misunderstood by many. Now, though his actions were to help us to understand him better, it appears that we ended up rather misinterpreting his teachings. And now, if you observe, we are hardly paying attention to his works. Jesus was a man who was an epitome of love, and he demonstrated that while on earth. Now, though we have to follow him on how he demonstrated it, some of us have found contrary ways of demonstrating this love that Jesus came to show. So now, usually when we hear someone say, "I love you," now instantly our minds are drawn to a romantic sort of relationship, and that is really the main thing that comes to mind when people say or hear someone tell them that "I love you." And so you find that people even find it weird or uncomfortable just to tell people that, "Oh, I love you," because they are afraid that might be misunderstood. So let's see some of the views. People have different perspectives that are really not what Jesus came to teach. Some people in define love as a feeling only. They define love as only a feeling. But to only see it as such means that at any point in time, it can easily wear off because it will be dependent on how you feel at that point in time. And so it's possible that you might even choose not to be in love with the person or not to feel love anymore for the person. Some also think or view love as an illusion. To some, love is an illusion. And this is usually based on the conclusion that they have come up with as a result of some painful experiences that they have gone through. It could be some painful experience they went through as a result of demonstrating love towards someone. Maybe it could be a heartbreak or a disappointment. So some people tend to regard love as an illusion. Now, others also regard love as a way of showing pity on someone. So to someone, if I show you pity, I think that I love you. And so then you find some people actually giving to charity or doing certain acts in the name of love, when in actual sense, they just feel pity for the people that they are offering that love to. Now, there are also others that they can easily just tell you, "Oh, I love you," but really, there's no action backing what they are saying. I mean, they are just verbally just saying that "I love you," but there's no action to actually demonstrate or prove that, yes, truly, they do love you. Now we find various people spending time going through routines or partaking in activities, all in the name of Christianity. But surprisingly, you notice that most of their foundations are not, the core foundation of whatever they are practicing is not based on love. And so you'd find that even some pastors end up binding their enemies when Jesus clearly was a man of love. And he even said in Matthew 5:44 that But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. But what do we find lately? We find people condemning their enemies, binding their enemies, all sorts of ideologies of what love is, contrary to what Jesus was trying to teach or what he taught. So then the question really becomes, are we really demonstrating love like Jesus did? Are these acts of love or these ideas of love really what Jesus' stand view of love is? So what is the love then that Jesus came to teach? Now, recently I was reading the Bible, the book of Matthew, and I began to really question myself what or where we went wrong with the meaning and demonstration of love in humanity. I was just contemplating on where did things just go wrong, because it seems as though everything has just gone back to the way things were done before Jesus came. Because if you think about it, the greatest teaching of Jesus was love. Really, the man was about love, and so most of the things that he did was centered on love. He even came to teach, he even came to change the laws and demonstrated love, but somehow we've just found a way of going back to the old laws that he changed for some reason. So the old law, for example, will say an eye for an eye. And then Jesus comes in Matthew 5:44 and says, but I say, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. But I say, love your enemies. And it seems that we've gone back to the eye for an eye that he came to change. So I keep just wondering, what really are we doing that is really demonstrating or practicing what Jesus really came to teach? And so we find individuals really spending countless hours just binding enemies and wishing evil on enemies. Now, is this really the love that he came to teach? Is this really the love he came to teach? And with my topic, it's say, what then does it mean to even love or love yourself, let alone love your neighbor as yourself? So in Matthew 7:26, based on all these things that I'm saying, you read Matthew 26, and it describes how lost humanity has become, or how lost we have become, because and it says that we have become like men building houses on sand. Now that means that there's really no grounding, and that's how come there's no grounding, there's no foundation of what we believe in, and that's how come some of us are easily just swayed away by people who have also been swayed away and drowned in ignorance. Now, these people simply have chosen to just follow suit in, I must say, heartbreaking demonstration of love, which is not of God. It is really heartbreaking when you see how people tend to demonstrate or express love in the name of Christianity, or in the name of Islam, or in the name of any other religion. We read in Matthew 22:36-40, and I read, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Now I'll take a second reading from 1 Corinthians 13:4-7, which reads, If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. I gain nothing. And that is 1 Corinthians 13:4-7. And so now in reading these two scriptures, two verses, you come to realize that the underlying goal in both of these scriptures is love. And that is really what Jesus came to teach all through his life. He said love was the greatest commandment of it all. And so we realize that Jesus demonstrated love when he healed the sick out of love. Now there are several instances where he did that in the Bible. We can even talk of Matthew 14:14, where he saw a large crowd and decided to heal them. He also demonstrated love when he fed the hungry out of love. We can also find that in Matthew 15:32. And he also even demonstrated love when he spoke to the Samaritan woman, breaking the rule of segregation that was back then, because he was not even supposed to speak to someone outside of his tribe. But he broke that rule of segregation, all in the name and in the practice of he trying to change the old laws, trying to demonstrate the love that he was. And so then what is love? What then really is love? And so we read in 1 Corinthians 13:4-7 that love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. This verse clearly explains to details what love is. He went beyond teaching how to love yourself, how to love God, to even how to love your neighbor as yourself, because love is not supposed to be individually centered. Love is supposed to be expressed, and it's supposed to be expressed to your neighbors as well. And so when he was asked, who then is thy neighbor? Who then is thy neighbor? And then he responded in Luke 10:29-37, and I read, but he wanted to justify himself, so he asked, and who is my neighbor? And in Jesus' reply, he said that a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went and left him thinking he was half dead. A priest passed by, saw him pass by. A Levite also passed by, saw him, and also just passed by. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, seeing the man, took pity on him, and he went and bandaged his wounds, and he even put a man to a donkey and then sent him to a place for someone to even take care of him. And then Jesus told them that so Jesus asked them that, which of these three people do you think is the neighbor? And the experts in the law replied that the one who had mercy on him. And so Jesus told him that go and do likewise. So in this scripture, this scriptural reading therefore tells you that your neighbor is pretty much anyone you meet, anyone nearby. Now the proximity may or may not really be significant, in the sense that you could either come into close proximity with the person, or you could just be aware of the person's presence. Pretty much all of humanity is your neighbor, because you even sometimes say our neighboring countries, our neighboring countries. So your neighbor is not someone, you don't need to know the person for the person to become your neighbor, or you don't have to have relations with the person before you call that person your neighbor. The Samaritan did not know the man, but that man is what Jesus used, that parable was what Jesus used to describe as who a neighbor was. And so your neighbor does not have to be someone from your same background, someone from your same ethnic group or religion. So even if you are sitting in the train right now, if you are walking by the roadside, the people you are seeing right now as you take your stroll are your neighbors. So simply put, to love your neighbor as yourself is really to recognize everyone around you as part of you, and you treat them the way you want to be treated. You treat them the way you want to be treated. And that is what it means to love your neighbor as yourself. So then, how do we love our neighbor as ourselves? How do we go around doing that? But even before I take you through practical ways we can love our neighbors as ourselves, we need to know that to even love your neighbor as yourself, it requires you to first make a decision. It requires you to make a decision to choose consciously to love your neighbor. Now, the act of love really starts or begins with you having the will to even love that neighbor. And this choice should be taken and demonstrated regardless of how you feel towards the person. Regardless of how you feel towards the person, it should be demonstrated because in that point in time, that person maybe genuinely needs you, and you are the only person that could possibly help them. So you first need to make the will, need to have the will to make that decision to love your neighbor. And then after willing, you should also, another thing you should be willing to do is also you should be willing to sacrifice. You should be willing to sacrifice. Know that love comes with sacrifice, and sacrifice also comes at a cost. Now, I talk about sacrifice as a cost where the cost could be in the form of money, where you have to give out money to help someone. It could be a cost of your time, where you have to dedicate an amount of time just sitting with someone, just listening to the person's problems and providing solutions for the person. Or it could be a cost in terms of strength, where you just need to be there for someone through a certain phase. So regardless, you must be willing to give it all out without any consideration of what you will get in return. Your sacrifice should be done without any expectations. And so we read in Acts 20 verse 35 that in everything I did, I showed you that by this kind of hard work, we must help the weak, remembering the words of the Lord Jesus himself said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. So it is more blessed to give, to sacrifice love than to receive. Also, you also require for you to also love your neighbor. It also requires you to be willing to seek the highest, best in the person you are calling your neighbor. You should be willing to seek the highest, best for the person or anyone you come into contact with. Want nothing except to see the person become a better version of themselves. And that is really where love, demonstration of love comes in, and that is really what Jesus stood for. And so here, even in Ethereum Mission, we would define love as seeing the good and the divine, all the possible good in the divine in yourself and in all of life. And so this is what Ethereum Mission seeks to do. We seek to bring out the good in people, and that is what our activities are even centered on. We are Jesus Christians, and so we seek to practically demonstrate what it means or what it takes to love someone or to love someone as yourself. And so we go into how we can practically demonstrate or express love. And so I'll be considering the verse that I initially read, which was 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7, which talked about love and patience and kindness, and considering other examples of how we can practically demonstrate or show that we love our neighbors as ourselves. And so we take the first one, which says that love is patience. And hence, for you to demonstrate love to your neighbor, for you to love your neighbor as yourself, you first need to be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. It is only by first addressing you, being patient with yourself, will you even be in the position to be patient with others. You know, some of us are so hard on ourselves. I mean, I think I fall under this category of people who are sometimes hard on themselves. We are sometimes so hard on ourselves because we strive for perfection to the core. And as such, any failed attempt at something, especially when we expect it to go well, it finds us in a situation where we are a bit down, or it just really just affects our mood. But being patient with yourself, right, is to know that sometimes life is unpredictable. Sometimes things just happen, and sometimes we make errors, sometimes we make mistakes, and it is okay for us to even make the mistake. It takes even 9 months for the baby to be born. It takes the sun to rise slowly. The sun doesn't just shoot up. It is patience and it's rise. things take time to occur. They don't just occur. So the same way that we are able to pick ourselves up after we fail and try again after making our mistakes, God also expects us to not be quick to even judge others or be short-tempered towards the mistakes of other people. We are supposed to be patient when someone commits a mistake, because then you know that even you yourself, you know that there's a possibility of even you committing a mistake. So when you're able to be patient with yourself and understand that mistakes are part of life, when someone also commits a mistake or does a mistake, you tend to really appreciate the person and not just go overboard and unnecessarily overreact, but rather you'd be able to position yourself and look for possible outcomes in that situation that you are facing. So the first thing, or first way you can demonstrate loving your neighbor as yourself, is for you to be patient with yourself and be patient with your neighbor as well. And so the second way we can demonstrate, or we can show, or we can love our neighbor as ourselves, is by demonstrating honesty, by demonstrating truth. Be honest with yourself at all times. Be honest with yourself at all times, because you know that sometimes a lack of honesty is what really taints most of these relationships. It could taint it both in either, it could be a short term or long term, but regardless, it's still lack of honesty in every relationship makes it hard for the relationship to really thrive. Because really the foundations of all relationships, whether it is business or it is social, it is friendship, whatever it is, they are mostly based on honesty. So simply just call a spade a spade. If it is black, say it is black. Be honest in your dealings with people and avoid pushing certain things or aside or hiding the truth from people, because sometimes you notice that we end up doing that mostly sometimes with the good intentions, because we feel like maybe we don't want to hurt the person, but sometimes it's really just best we just go all out straight up and just be honest and just tell the person right then and there. So the same way that you expect people to be honest with you, and the same way that you are being honest with yourself, Jesus is telling us that you need to be equally honest with your neighbor. And so you're loving your neighbor as yourself when you do this. Now another way we can also demonstrate loving our neighbor as ourselves would also be by showing or demonstrating forgiveness, being forgiven, having a forgiving spirit. You know, your ability to love is highly measured on your ability to forgive those who have wronged you, and also unconditionally forgive and love your enemies. And that's even how come we find Jesus telling us to love our enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Because you know, truthfully, it's easy to love those who haven't done you any wrong. I mean, the person hasn't committed any crime. Everything is going on smoothly. So it's quite easy to love someone who hasn't done you any wrong. But then the deepest and the real challenge comes in when you have to choose to love that person who has hurt you to the very core. Now that is where the challenge really comes in, and that is really what Jesus came to stand for. Loving people that have hurt you to the very core. You know that this person is hurting me, but Jesus is saying, love them, do not persecute them. And so you'd even read in Matthew 5:46-47 that if you love those who love you, what reward will you really get? Do not even tax collectors do the same? And if you only greet your brothers, what are you doing more than others? Do not even Gentiles do the same? And so you see, like I said, it is easy to love people who haven't done you wrong. And so he asked that, and even when he was asked how many times you need to forgive someone, he says 77 times 7, which is to say that countless amounts of times, no matter how many times a person offends you, you are supposed to be in that state and say that I am forgiven you. And it is because you are able, you position yourself to even forgive you. Because you're in that state of I forgive me, and you're able to see all the errors that you are possible, that you are even likely to commit or have even committed, because you are looking at things from that standpoint, you would be equally able to forgive that person who has equally done you harm, which is hurting you to the very core. Because you know that, we all hurt people one way or the other. And so it makes it easy. And that is what Jesus meant when he said that love your neighbor as yourself, saying that treat them how you will treat you. Another way that we can also demonstrate or show that we love our neighbors as ourselves is to know that love yourself as your neighbor, it requires consistency. Consistency is very, very key. And so we read above that love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. See the consistency, talking about the consistency in the practice of love. And so you do not one day decide that, oh, today I'm going to love you because you have done me good. And then one day, because the person hurts you, the next minute you're like, I hate you because of this thing that you've done. That is not how love works. Love is consistent. If you love someone, you love the person regardless of what the person does to hurt you. And love is really consistent and is expected to be unconditionally expressed. So you need consistency when you decide to take the path of love. Another way that we are still considering how we can demonstrate or show that we love our neighbors as ourselves is also for you to be, you can also know that you also need to be all embracing. To demonstrate you loving your neighbor as yourself requires you to be all embracing. It means you are all embracing in the sense that you do not see segregation. There's nothing like this person is brown, this person is white. There is nothing like that. You are all embracive. And that is how you can demonstrate loving your neighbor as yourself, where you just first accept you for you. If you are black, you accept and appreciate you for you. You do not even condemn anything on you that you know you didn't create. Whether you like it or not, that is how you were created. If you cannot change it, why worry about it? So do not condemn any of your physical features, how you feel. Your nose could have been, your ears could have been, your mouth could have been, or the color of your skin. You need to love you first before you can even embrace other people. So love you for who you are. Love you for you. Spend time with yourself just loving you. Make yourself feel good about you. And know that however it is you are, whatever features you have, whether you have a small lip, a big nose, a big head, or whatever it is, that is just simply how life has created you, and life knows itself best to create you like that, to make you unique in that form. And so love you for you. Now once you're able to even love you for you, and then now Jesus is telling you, love your neighbor as yourself. And so now that you are accepting all your weaknesses in quotes, Jesus is telling you to also accept the weaknesses of your neighbors. Accept the weaknesses of your neighbors. And it is only through your personal experience of you loving you, where you feel confident in yourself, will you also be equally able to love your neighbors. And so Jesus is telling you, love you and love your neighbors just the way you love you. Another way we can also demonstrate loving our neighbors as ourselves is knowing that love is not selfish. We must demonstrate love by not being selfish. Share whatever you know, whatever you have, so that it can equally benefit other people. Life is it's not a race, it's not a competition. We are all here for one goal, and that one goal is for us all to promote life. So do not hoard information or wealth and partake in activities that only benefit you as an individual. So there's even a parable of the rich fool when you read Luke 12:16 to 21, which talks about the rich man who had excess. He had a lot, he was in abundance. And instead of him sharing, he decided to come up with ways to store the surplus. And so he tore down all his barns, and then he decided to rather big ones and even big others just to save his surplus, so that he could just be eating and drinking and eat to his own satisfaction. And so you read in that verse, in the verse 20, that God says to him that, you fool, this very night your life will demand it from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself? This should even tell you that whatever it is we have, it is for life, it is to be used for life. It is not ours. So you do not need to be selfish about what you have. The money, the cars, everything that you have will be left behind. Because it's not as though we are going to be buried with the world. No one has been buried with the cars or the houses that they've acquired. We have to use it all to just demonstrate the love and have positive impacts in the lives of others, and that is really what matters. And so life is telling you, Jesus is telling you that do not be selfish. Use whatever you have to support your neighbor, so that you are all able to work towards the achievement of that one goal that we are here. So instead of saving up your surplus, you can decide to demonstrate your love by supporting. It could be supporting a spiritual body like a Ethereum mission, which promotes the ideologies and teachings of Jesus. Or you could even identify someone in your community where you feel like, I have enough, or I don't even have enough, I just want to support this person. Or simply support a charity or any institution that you believe is promoting the good that you are. By that way, you are loving you, and you're loving your neighbors as well, because now whatever activities that you are partaking in, it is not selfish, but it is also having an impact and benefiting the lives of others. And so with all that I've said, I'll just leave you with one spiritual tool here in Ethereum Mission we call love activation. Love activation. Now this is a practice that gets you to love yourself by bringing to mind all of your love moments. And with the love generated, you are able to extend it towards your neighbors, drawing them to experience the love that Jesus came to demonstrate. So, and a consistent practice of this will pretty much heal every tension that you have with your neighbors. It will get you to accept you and just live in love. You'll be able to live in love. So, love activation is really just a 3-step process, where the first step requires you to stimulate the love that you have within. And you do this by bringing to mind any moments in which you have felt loved or have loved. It could be a love you felt for an animate or inanimate object. So it could be that you saw this dog and you were so much in love with the dog. Or you saw this lady and she was so beautiful, you were just in love with her. Or you saw a furniture or a picture. Bring to mind everything that has made you feel love before. Now the second step is to declare that love and allow you to feel that love. And so you just be in that moment, feeling that love, bringing to mind all of it, and just remembering how that moment felt. By this, you are generating that love that is. And then the final step is now for you to expand that love you feel by merging with all of life, merging with everybody around you, merging with the neighbors that you see around you, the neighbors that you do not see around you, merging with pretty much everything within life, and everything that is happening also within life. So it's just a 3-step process, very simple. We can equally practice it. And so then, after all this, when you're able to love your neighbor as yourself, you are able to live in continuous harmony with all of life, because really you begin to see everyone as an extension of you. You are also able to you are also open to vast opportunities there is, because sometimes the success that we tend to achieve are dependent on our relationships with people. You cannot make it on your own without any relationship. You certainly need relationships. So by loving you, loving your neighbors, you are creating more opportunities for your success. And also you become a Jesus Christian, because you become an upholder of the teachings of Jesus, which said, love thy neighbor as thyself. Yeah, and as a result of this, you're always in a state of peace because you're all forgiving, you're all embracing, and you're simply just demonstrating the love that Jesus came to teach. And so, with all that I've said, I hope and I believe that we can begin to love our neighbors just as we love ourselves. God bless you, and thank you all for listening.
God bless you. Love your neighbor as yourself. Take your phones if you are in the US. Dial 0013156364063063. 0013156364063063. And if you're outside of the UK, you dial 00440-208-144-8180. 00440-208-144-8180. If you are watching us on Facebook Live, you can probably send your contributions or questions. You can as well send your contributions, questions, as live according to our radio. Now, beautiful lady is ever ready to answer your questions because she's flowing abundance of love. Have you ever fallen in love? Or you are currently in love with your topic?
Pardon? Is that what my topic?
Have you ever fallen in love? Or you are currently in love with your topic?
Yes, I'm in love with that topic.
Also in love with the topic.
Yes.
So Emmanuel from Finland is asking that all human beings are neighbors. That's the first question. And he says,
Sorry, you might have to repeat that again. Are only
human beings are neighbors.
Okay.
And the second question is, how should love be managed so that it does not cause distraction instead? How should love be managed so as not cause distraction? Over to you.
Okay. So the first question about are human beings only our neighbors? I indicated that all of life, everything within life is pretty much your neighbor. So I'm talking about the elements. It could be the fires, the water, everything, the plants that you see, the animals, everything that you come into contact with is pretty much your neighbor, right? And then for how we can manage love so that it doesn't become distractive. Well, for that, I'll say that sometimes you have to be loving someone doesn't mean go all out just with your head, you are not thinking. And that is how come sometimes we find people loving people and then the love ends up being hurtful instead of what it's supposed to promote. So you're not just supposed to love with your head without thinking. You're supposed to equally think about how you're expressing it. First of all, you need to even study the kind of person that you are even expressing that love to. Because I think I mentioned earlier on that sometimes people get a wrong understanding, or they misunderstand the expression I love you, or they misunderstand some demonstrations of people expressing love. They misunderstand that. So you have to even know the person that you are even trying to demonstrate this love to. And also think with your head. Loving someone doesn't mean that this person is poisonous, and so they say I should love the person, and so even though the person is poisonous and is not helping me grow in any way, I am still holding on to that person. So no, you have to love, but you have to really think through, especially considering the people that might be involved in the situation that you want to express that love.
Beautiful. So with this Emmanuel from Finland, I think I'll also add that love is seen as good and divine. or the possible good in all of life. So if you are focusing on that, I doubt it will be a distraction instead. Most of the times, this romantic love, etc., become very possessive and they even want to keep it. So possessive. The Bible says love is not jealous, etc. So we should focus on the good, the possibility that we can propose. That is what it should be, and that is what Abigail says. So the second question comes from Cedric Kobler. He says, and I quote, "Can you give a practical example of correcting the error of another person from the place of love?" Can you give a practical example correcting the error of another person from the place of love?
Okay. And so if I'm to give a practical example, I would say that for whatever error that you are committing, so let's say you want to correct someone who is greedy or who likes to hoard. So for you to be able to give a practical way of correcting that kind of person, you have to be the example of love. So give to the person. Just freely keep giving to the person, right? At a point in time, the person would sit down and say, but like the person would just have a minute to themselves and wonder, how come I don't give to this person, but then he's always giving to me? And then you notice that gradually, if this person was a greedy person, like with the example I'm giving, you notice that maybe once in a while you notice that the person comes to put something by you and tells you that this is for you. So for you to correct that error, you have to sometimes demonstrate it for the person to see.
Beautiful. When you we have Nana Mensa. He's one of our regular listeners. So I love to you. We have J. Ronnie. He says, please, can you type the quotations mentioned? So maybe in the course of it, I will get it and type, or maybe a TV machine will do that. We have Jennifer Ruth Wellington. She says, we must choose to love this aspect of ourselves that we may have overcome, outgrown, and learn our way through. We can choose to support their spiritual enlightenment, and work in the quantum level. Love moves on all levels of being. We must help and also keep healthy boundaries. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Anonymous. The question is interesting. Yes. How should I love animals? Does it mean you should be a vegetarian?
Well, it does not necessarily mean that you need to be a vegetarian, but you see, sometimes some people when you see how sometimes animals are being treated, I mean, it's not all the time fair. So by loving them, you're just not disregarding or treating them, just throwing, you can just hit an animal with your leg, or just, I think I remember an instance, I had some friends when I was quite young, they were having fun, and they felt by having fun, they took a knockout and decided to keep a chicken in the knockout just so they would see how that would be. I mean, that is very, very insensitive. So by loving them, I mean that you should be avoiding certain or such acts which are very, very insensitive. You don't do that.
Certainly.
Yeah.
My question, I want to know, how can we love our environment in order not to pollute it, in order for us not to have these flooding issues all the time? How do we
In
love
order not
our
to,
environment to prevent those?
in order not to,
Pollute our environment. You know, we are always having these flooding issues here and there. How do we love the environment? If you love the environment, you will not litter, etc. How do we do that
yes.
in order to keep the
I
environment?
mean, I think I think you've actually answered the question. If you love the environment, you not litter. I mean, if you know that you're not supposed to build where there's a gutter, you won't build where there's a gutter. That is you loving the environment. So those are just simple examples that we can give. Yeah.
Exactly. However, we can do more. Don't you think so?
Oh, certainly. I mean, if I'm to give you a list, we are not going to complete now. There's an exhaustive list of what you can do to love your environment. But like I said, those are just a few examples of what you are supposed to. You can even plant more trees. You can have a weekly cleanup exercise, a monthly, a daily cleanup exercise. I mean, there are lots. So.
Certainly. Great.
Yeah.
So the person comes back to say, where is love in killing animals to eat or to feed? Where is the love? If we are killing animals, if we claim we love animals, why should we kill them to feed?
This person is a vegetarian. I have a feeling this person might be a vegetarian, but I think that is not a discussion I want to get into now. But like I said, the love I'm talking about is having insensitive demonstrations or acts of practices which are just not, they're pretty much not sensitive towards animals. I don't think I want to delve into the vegetarian aspect of of killing animals, because that would divert the whole conversation. So that could be for another time. But I think I gave examples of how you can avoid being insensitive to animals. Yeah.
Are animals not blessed for us, for our consumption? Are they not blessed for us to have them?
Yes, they are. I mean, they are. Yes.
Okay, so the anonymous person should be said. Okay, this is Emmanuel again. He says, what is the best way to deal with troublesome people? How to show them love, but not... Sorry?
Sorry, I didn't. You might have to repeat that again.
He says, what is the best way to deal with troublesome people? That's the first question.
Okay.
And he said, how to show them love, but not allow their negativity to disturb our psyche.
I think the person has. I think the person has asked and answered the question in itself. You can avoid troublesome people by, you see the person, you greet the person. If you have to help the person, you help the person. It doesn't mean have a close interaction where you are sharing your secrets with the person. No, sometimes you might need, it's necessary for you to create that gap. You see the person, greet the person, help the person, and then you just move on. And so by doing that, you don't even tolerate that time for the person to sit down and talk to you about all the negative things that are happening, so that it would even interfere with your psyche. So that is pretty much, give yourself that space, just demonstrate that love, and then you just go ahead with your daily activities without any personal bond between those people.
Great. I feel that loving people doesn't necessarily mean that even if they are troublesome or they are hurting, you should just continue. You can just be at peace with them. You are not fighting them.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. You just give them the space. Yeah.
Beautiful. We have wonderful souls celebrating their birthday this week, and we would like to acknowledge them and happy for them. So Vanessa is tomorrow. Vanessa, you. Vanessa, wherever you are, bless you. And we pray that life gives you more that you have for the promotion of itself. We have Sandy Brown also celebrating his birthday on the 6th. We have Abena. Is it what's in the surname? Is it Abna Tete? Miss Abna Tete. Now she's Mrs. I've forgotten the husband's name. She's also celebrating her birthday on the 6th. So can you pray for them?
Oh, okay. In the spirit of love that I feel, I step into the place where I know that there is an abundant love that is expressing in the lives of Abna, of Vanessa, of Stanley, even as they celebrate their birthdays. I see this love that Jesus demonstrated expressing and growing. They have become pillars, standing forth and becoming the promoters of the love that is. And even as they celebrate their birthday, their names are even being remembered as true demonstrators of love. They are experiencing abundance of love, and from the very place of love that I speak, I know that it is done, and I give thanks for an accomplished work, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. And so it is. Okay. So I'm sure, in a nutshell, we should love our neighbors as ourselves. We should try
Exactly.
love our neighbors as ourselves. So I've answered
Yes.
the question myself today. Please give us a location of experience.
Okay, sure. So Ethereum Mission, once again, is located at the General Accra High Street at Accra, at the Goel Filling Station, Sakaman. And then you can call us on 0264 177 633. Or you could also call us on 0548 177 633. Now, these are also our WhatsApp numbers. So if you want to call, if you want to donate or contribute financially to support the good we believe in, you can equally reach us on these numbers. Also in Ghana, we are located at Takrade at the Dave Street in the Nnaji Estate. And you can call on 0561 166 330. If you are in Kumasi, you can also fellowship with us at the Delba Court Hotel behind Dr. Badu in Adiambra, and can also call us on 0561 166 331. If you are in the UK, you can also fellowship with us at the 58 Grange Park Avenue in Mecham, Surrey, and the postcode is CR4 2DG. And the number is 020 86 466 129. God bless you once again, and thank you for listening.
Great. I just saw a message on Facebook, and the person says she's your childhood friend. So let me read it to your hearing. It's Mami Ejewa Elons. She says, "Wow, this is your childhood friend Ejewa way back in Safon. I'm watching live from Cyprus. How do you deal with someone you have shown love to as a sister and a friend? Yes, she goes round to gossip with another fellow whom you helped, because I'm so hurt and don't want to talk to any of them. She was eavesdropping on me while making a call. Hope to get in touch with you. Kudos anyway."
Okay, so just give us. Pardon?
Yeah, so can you answer her?
Yeah, so just to give her a short response, I'll just say that it's okay to feel hurt. Feel the hurt that you are feeling, and know that life, people are bound to hurt you. These things happen. But then don't dwell so much in the pain of the hurt, and simply just love. Like the example I gave of having to demonstrate it, it doesn't matter if they've hurt you. Simply just continue showing them love, because that is really what Jesus came to stand for. Showing love regardless of the pain. So feel the hurt, take the time, feel the hurt, feel the betrayal, but pick yourself up and continue to demonstrate love just like Jesus demonstrated.
So Ejewa, over to you. Thank you very much, Abigail. It has been great having you on the show, and we will try. It's not easy. We'll be trying to love our neighbors as ourselves, despite the hate, etc. We feel the hate and declare God in the head. Okay, bye. Safe journey home.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Father, Mother God, lift my vision beyond duality and seeming opposites to that sacred vision of your one and indivisible self. O God, grant me the blessed vision that sees only your divine presence in and through all of life. You are the only power without opposite. There is nothing else besides you. You encompass the earth, the solar and other starry systems and galaxies. You alone are God. To you I surrender always, and from you I draw my power. So now, my spirit rises with the spirit of life, and the sound of my voice echoes in the hearts of all men.
Jesus, oh yeah, me chem, ne me katapo, oh yeah, mahuye mubwa for me niopia, yes we me tirane Towadum shirasyo no eku meso, namanya mi yenina, enye shiro. Towadum shirasyo no eku meso, namanya mi yenina, enye shiro. Mediano, 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 mediano. Jesus, mediano, 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 mediano. Yes, sir, mediano. Siantamine Siabra, Icanto Siena, Nehandurbo Cantaya, Lavayantiene, Lebra Casundiata, Nehibresianta, Yanonianda, Ifrantuandos, Jame o sanctuary, Namahonami na unuse, Mechivuti asi, Name Puafoni weradi, Jesus, Yame ho sanctuary, Namahonami na unuse, Minyami no betu miachime, Osusuni no betu miachime. Tawadum shiresyono egumeso namanya nina enyeshiro Tawadum shiresyono egumeso namanya nina enyeshiro Yesu mediano Mediano, I didn't know to for Yame, oh, Jesus Mediano, Tawadum Shirasio, Egu so, Namanya Miena, Enyeshiro. Jesus, Tawadum Shirasio, Ekumeso, Nama Mechuma Miye, Nina, Enyeshiro, Ohine, Tawadum Shirasio, Ekumeso, Nama Miye, Nina, Enyeshiro, yeah, Tawadum Shirasio, Ekumeso, Namanya Nina, Enyeshira, Medemini Obia, Mediano, just Mediano, and Mama Nimu Wasi, Mediano, me fra wachi me su onya me batampe becoming koto Jenny frawa chimesu me frawa chimesu ampa botie foi becoming koto Jenny frawa chimesu erade Tawadum Shirasio, Ekumeso, Namanya Nina, Enyeshiro, oh, Mediano, Jesus, Mediano, Minipa Biarako, oh, Mediano, Jesus, Mediano, Tawadum Shirasio, Tawadum Shirasio, Tokuma Chimaiso, Tokuma Warrioriso, Tawadum Shirasio, Tawadum Shirasio. moja gana nyuma. Badi kuku ampara. Omane uswa Yesu abrenasi. Otu Yesu sa Yesu moja gana nyuma. Badi kuku ampara. Omane uswa Yesu abrenasi wa. Otu Yesu sa Yesu Kristo aseni nyuma. Badi kuku ampara. Badi kuku abusa wedi kuku. Badi kuku ampara. Badi kuku abusa wedi kuku. Badi kuku ampara. Omani wesa Yesu abrenasi na yo. Otu Yesu na yo. Yesu Kristo abrenasi na yo. Badi kuku ampara. Omani wesa Yesu abrenasi. Otu Yesu sa kaya tamba ile. Badi kuku ampara. Omani wesa Yesu abrenasi. Otu Yesu sa Yesu abrenasi. Badi kuku ampara. Tumbia piama ye. Yesu Kristo mojem. Amaye nyankwa. Bongo. Oni nyamya ye. Ajo nyamya ye piama ye. No. Praise Lord. Tumbia pwe fini muja ni mo. Ama ye nyankwo. Tumbia pwe fini muja ni mo. Ama ye nyankwa. Imoja na to ye hu. Nana dum swaje ye kwai. Awoteko monkasa. Hallelujah ke bamo. Imoja na to ye. Mami brother yo. Nana dum swaje ye kwai. Awoteko monkasa. Hallelujah ke bamo. Praise Lord. Praise the Lord. Come on, we see. Lenu batsanda minim ne rada ye. Sinipanyina pume. Mabuse jamia. Yesu ni bonda sanse oyo inkase hallelujah Seme Yesu Mino Betanda
Everything you have the blessings. You just to shine your blessing. Everything you get the blessing. Look at your life, the blessings. Everything you have the blessings. You just to shine your blessing. Everything you get the blessings. Early in the morning the blessings. So goodness and mercies. Through the darkest hour.